Round of applause, please. Welcome, Reverend Oliver.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. We want to thank our Reverend Jim Picard for his wonderful address to us. Let's give him another round of applause. And he said some very prolific things. And I'd like just to share with you why we're here also. And also we want to give Father Moon a hand clap as well. Let's give him a hand. Because it is he that inspired us to stand here today to invite you with the message of peace. That's what it's basically all about. And as John Picard, Reverend Picard here, had indicated a few seconds ago, he had shared with us about the uniqueness of the African culture. And that here in the Washington Family Church, we are an international community in reality. Many of us have either African wives or Japanese wives or European wives, and we don't have it because we are rejecting our race and our culture. We specifically accepted these brides or husbands because we wanted to show the world consciously and concretely and substantially that we want to be people who will break down the racial and national and cultural barriers through marriage. We marry many times our enemy. Amen? Because there's one thing about, amen, there's one thing about children. They can melt your heart. And children can melt the heart of the grandparents. That's what Father Moon says. He says, why do I match and marry and across cultural marriages? He says, because I'm looking at the future. I'm looking at the future of peace, of building a world of peace. How do we do that? Of course, we have our work to do. Amen? Amongst us. So we have to, in a new age, we have to come to a new consciousness in order to break down the barrier. Okay, 50, 100 years ago, people were not in that consciousness because the environment was dictating something else. Therefore, for our conscience, we felt it was okay to discriminate. Hey, but as time goes on and we change and we begin to develop and new age is coming. Because at one time humanity was standing what? In a dark age, right? Someone said that the world was flat. And if someone came up with the idea that the world was round, we thought he was a heretic or that he was possessed by Beelzebub. So what do we have to do? We have to eliminate him based on the principle that he's possessed by Beelzebub. But what did they find out? They found out that the world was round. But in that age, they could not cognize because their spiritual minds and their spiritual awareness was not awakened yet. But we are at a time where the spiritual awakening is at hand. And in the Bible, it says, in the last days, young men will dream dreams and old men will see visions. It said that, right? That means that our spiritual senses are beginning to awaken and come forth. So that when your spiritual senses, your awareness is coming to a greater fruition, you are able to be flexible in your thinking and not be so dogmatic that you are in the position and to justify how you separate and bring division. So, Father Moon calls it his mission, called by God, to be the forerunner, to show that that we can become true brothers. We are are true brothers. Let me give you one story as I just want to go really briefly over just what we call just some words of the divine principle from Father Moon. Just give you an introduction of it, to share how we are people. We are actually, humanity is victims, you know. We're victims of a past. You know, in all religious books, maybe people hear from Islam. We might have some people here from Christian backgrounds from different denominations. But I tell you, the truth is absolute, unchanging, and unique. And every religious text, they said that something happened in the beginning of humankind that severed our relationship with the Creator. And because of that, we have deviated. And when we have deviated, it caused split, separation. And those separations, when we split and we differentiate, what do? We begin to fight amongst each other. Right? Am I right? Amen. And so God, Reverend Moon is saying, you are one family under God, created by the one Creator. And only till you go back home, to the origin, to the beginning, to understanding who God really is, then at that point you will find your true value and your true identity. And once you find your true identity, then you realize, oh, that really is my brother. And I think this brother, someone was sharing about, that was my brother, that's my brother. But one of the 12 characteristics was not a threat, but it was made to complement. You understand? So what Reverend Moon has proven, imagine, you saw this man, Asia, a Korean. We're sitting in here of all races, nationalities, and cultures because of one Korean man. You know, I was in an international conference with the highest dignitaries and leaders of the world. And I was so shocked because, you know, you go to South Korea. South Korea is almost neck and neck with America in its economy. But 30 years ago, Korea was poorer than Sahara Africa.
That's true.
So in 30 years, it became as powerful economically as America did in 200. Think about it. So I'm telling you, when he was called his mission, he was living in a country that was poorer than Sahara Africa. But he had a vision because he saw Jesus Christ on a mountaintop. And because of that vision, we sit here today. Amen?
Amen.
And so, brothers and sisters, we're inviting you. We're inviting you for a reason. To show the beauty of African culture. It's interesting. You know, of course, my ancestors, you can hear by my accent, hopefully, that I'm African American. So that means that my ancestors, you know, really have not been really settled in Africa for 400 years. But I am still of African descent. And this man right here, Reverend John Bicard, is from Africa. Amen. And he got up and spoke with a Western suit on. And I got up and spoke with an African outfit on. Isn't that interesting? Amen. So, amen. Amen. So I would like to just give you just a short introduction of who we are, what we are basically teaching. And you can follow me